Hi, I'm Jason Matthews. I'm the owner of Matthews Painting Company in Warsaw, Indiana. We continue our tutorial videos that we show all of our new employees as we're training them how to be professional painters. Today we're just going to be discussing basic roller covers, roller frames, the roller pans we use and their liners, and our 4 basic extension poles. First, we're going to go ahead and start with our pans. This here is just a 4-inch disposable pan. We use our 4-inch covers in this pan, which we're going to discuss here in just a minute. When we're done with these, those actually get thrown away. We usually use these when we're rolling outdoors or selective trim. Our next size up would be this, we call this a 9-inch deep pan. You've got your metal pan, but then we have these 9-inch deep pan liners. That always allows us to have a fresh liner in there so that our paint doesn't get chunky, and we can always throw that away at the end of the job as well. So that's a 9-inch deep pan and a 9-inch deep pan liner. We then move up to a shallow 18-inch pan. This actually has a little pouring spout on the end. This one also comes with a shallow 18-inch deep pan liner, so that you always have a fresh liner for when you're getting into different colors. We also throw these away at the end of the job. Those fit in there very nicely. And then we've got our 18-inch deep pan liner, and that actually has a handle where you can carry it. You can put a little bit more paint in this. We'd like to use these outside as well. These also come with an 18-inch deep pan liner. So you have your 18-inch deep pan and your 18-inch deep pan liner. You do see some tape on there. The reason we do that is we do try to roll out of one side for the first day or two on a job. After a while, this starts to get kind of caked up. That allows us to then just take this tape off, reminding us not to use this side while we're painting the first couple days. Then we have a nice fresh side to be able to roll out of. What's also nice is you can take these shallow 18-inch deep pan liners, and even whether they're used or not, you can actually use those for a lid to actually keep the sun off of or the wind off of, so that your paint's not skinning over. So that's a nice little benefit for the 18-inch shallow liners. We're going to discuss roller covers now. We do not call these rollers. We actually call them roller covers. Those will go onto the roller frames that we'll discuss here in just a minute. We're going to start from our thickest roller all the way to our thinnest, and then we're going to discuss what kind of surfaces we use those on. So over here we have an 18-inch, 1.25" nap polyester roller cover. I know that was long. 18 inch is always referring to the length. So whenever we're discussing a whole number, whether it's 4-inch, 9-inch, 18-inch, we're referring to the length of the roller cover. The 1.25 inch, anytime we're discussing a fraction, we're actually talking about the thickness of the knit here. Some call that the nap. So that is the thickness of the nap. That's an 1.25 inch thick. Polyester just refers to the type of nap or knit that we're dealing with here. On this 1.25 inch thick 18-inch cover, we also have a 9-inch, so that'd be 9-inch length with the same thickness, 1.25 nap. We typically only use these on exterior. However, we would use these on interior brick fireplaces or block that had some very deep recessed areas that had mortar. But mainly exterior stucco, really rough siding if we're back rolling after our sprayer. These are typically for exterior use and interior use once in a while if we're dealing with some interior brick. We then step down in the thickness to 3/4 inch nap. That's what these 3 covers here are. So we have our 18-inch, 3/4 inch nap polyester cover, our 9-inch, 3/4 inch nap polyester cover, and then we have something that we call these our jumbo mini. It's an oxymoron, I know, but that's also a 3/4 inch thick nap, but they're 4.5 inch. I think I said 4 inch, but they're 4.5 inch. And those we will discuss on what we use those on in a little bit. Mainly these only go around our ceiling line. If we're going to be painting our walls, it speeds up the process to go around the perimeter of a room. So these we would typically only use on ceilings on the edges. And then the 9-inch and the 18-inch 3/4 inch nap, these are mainly used for ceilings. So we would use these for ceilings on the interior of a home, or we would use the 9-inch 3/4 inch nap for decks. We use these on a lot of decks on exterior. That moves us over into our 1/2-inch nap roller covers. Everything over here has been polyester up to this point. It's a little bit of a less expensive cover because the surfaces we use those on, it isn't as critical as like a door or a wall. So now we're going to get into some of these white covers. We have an 18-inch, a 9-inch, and a 4-inch 1/2-inch nap. These are now called woven covers. So we'll refer to these as woven. It's a little bit different nap or knit on the cover here. It doesn't tend to shed as much. So we will use these on mainly walls. So anything 1/2-inch nap, we will typically just use that on walls only. Very rarely will we use these like on an exterior soffit or fascia. So when we discuss woven covers, 9-inch or 18-inch 1/2-inch nap, those are almost always typically for our walls. We do have a little polyester cover here, the 4-inch. That's just for touch-ups at the end of the job if there was something that we saw that needed a little bit of touch-up. These are just a cover that we don't use very often, but we keep them in stock. And then our last roller covers is a 4-inch, which is your length, your 9-inch length, just a reminder. These again are woven covers. They're white. They're a better quality cover, just like your wall covers, because these we're going to use on doors. These are 1/4 inch thick or 3/16 inch thick, depending on the company. They're very hard to distinguish. They're very, very thin, which means it leaves a lot smoother surface on your door. So we use these on all doors, selective trim if it's flat trim and it doesn't have angles or bevels in it. And that's just an overview of our roller pans, roller liners, roller covers. Now we'll discuss enclosing our roller frames. So on these 18-inch covers, these larger ones, we actually use a roller frame like this. Actually, you put the one side in this pin here. This then snaps down and it locks this roller cover in place. That's for our 18-inch roller covers. Again, a reminder, we call these frames. Covers, frames. This is for our 9-inch roller covers, which would be over in this area here. This is for our 4-inch. That would be these two right here, our 4-inch covers. And this would be for our jumbo mini. Some of you old-time painters might call these Johnny rollers. They used to go behind a John when you couldn't actually get behind a toilet and brush. A very low ceiling, you could use the shorter one. If you were at a 9 or 10 foot ceiling, you could use this longer one. And we would just go up and we get the edge really good. Again, we can only use these when we're actually going to be painting the walls as well, because when we're going around the edge of a ceiling with these, it is coming down onto the wall about an inch. And in closing, we will discuss our extension poles. This is rarely used, but if you're in a really tight area where you're trying to get behind furniture or a bed and a room's really full and you have things moved out into the middle of the room, this is a 1 to 2. It extends to 2 feet, goes down to 1. Some of these twist and lock, others don't. I'll show you a couple different styles. This is a 2 foot to 4 foot. This actually unscrews, comes out, and so you screw it back. So we have different styles of extension poles, and those change all the time. There's probably new styles out now. This is the most common and most used pole. It's a 4 to 8 foot extension pole. This one, you just have a little lever you press, and it's got little notches here that lock in. You just go to the length you need. You always use the longest pole possible for the area you're rolling. It requires less effort, and it'll allow you to get things done in a quicker manner. And this is our 6 to 12 foot, and this one extends out all the way up to 12 feet and back wherever you need it. Very good for very high walls, some of our stairway walls, really high ceilings or cathedral ceilings. Thank you.